Dr. Elena Vasquez rubbed her tired eyes and leaned back in her chair at the Kepler Deep Space Monitoring Station. For 3 years, she had been listening to the cosmic background radiation, searching for patterns, anomalies, anything that might indicate intelligent life beyond Earth's solar system. Tonight felt no different from the thousands of nights before, until the signal hit her instruments like a thunderclap. The transmission wasn't directed at Earth. It wasn't even in a frequency range that most civilizations would expect humans to monitor. But humanity's obsession with pushing technological boundaries had led them to build receivers sensitive enough to catch whispers from across the galaxy. Elena's hands trembled as she isolated the signal. The mathematical structure was unmistakable. This was no natural phenomenon. Someone somewhere was calling for help. "Tony, get over here," she called to her colleague, Dr. Anthony Kumar, who was reviewing stellar cartography data at the adjacent workstation. Tony hurried over, his coffee mug still steaming. "What have you got?" "Listen to this." Elena played back the cleaned-up transmission. The signal pulsed in a complex pattern, definitely artificial, definitely desperate. "My God," Tony whispered. "This is it, isn't it, first contact?" "Not exactly first contact," Elena said grimly. "More like first eavesdrop. This signal isn't meant for us. Look at the directional analysis." She pulled up the trajectory data. The signal was being broadcast toward a star system 847 light-years away, far beyond the source of the transmission itself. "They're calling to someone else for help," Elena realized. "Someone who's apparently too far away to respond in time." Tony studied the data. "The signal's getting weaker. If this is a distress call, whoever sent it is running out of power." Elena made a decision that would change the course of galactic history. She activated Terra Station's most powerful transmitter array and began composing humanity's first intentional message to an alien civilization. But first, they had to decode what they were hearing. Working through the night, Elena and Tony applied every cryptographic and linguistic algorithm they possessed. The breakthrough came when they realized the signal contained mathematical constants: pi, the golden ratio, prime number sequences, universal concepts that any technological species would understand. "It's a coordinates beacon," Tony said, exhaustion evident in his voice. "They're broadcasting their location." "And energy readings," Elena added, her face pale. "Tony, I think their sun is dying." The data was horrifying in its implications. An entire civilization was watching their star collapse into a white dwarf, and they had maybe weeks before their world became uninhabitable. Their desperate calls for evacuation were sailing toward a star system that was simply too far away for any rescue fleet to arrive in time. Elena stared at the display showing Earth's current fleet capabilities. Humanity had just achieved faster-than-light travel 3 months ago. Their longest successful jump had been to Proxima Centauri. The alien world was 68 light-years away. "We can't possibly reach them," Tony said, reading her thoughts. "Can't we?" Elena pulled up the technical specifications for the USV Endurance, humanity's newest exploration vessel. "Look at these theoretical calculations for the Alcubierre drive. The engine can handle longer jumps, we just haven't tested it yet." Within 6 hours, Elena's discovery had reached the highest levels of Earth's government. Within 12 hours, Captain James Harrison received the most unusual orders in human military history: take humanity's most advanced starship on an untested long-range jump to save a species they'd never met. The Endurance launched 18 hours after Elena first detected the signal. Captain Harrison, along with a crew of 60 volunteers, pushed their ship's experimental drive system far beyond its tested limits. The journey that should have taken years was compressed into days through a series of increasingly dangerous hyperspace jumps. As they emerged from their final jump, the crew of the Endurance found themselves in orbit around a dying world beneath, a swelling red giant star. The surface of the planet was already beginning to cook, but massive cities still glowed with millions of lights, millions of lives that would be extinct within days. The beings they found called themselves the Thylorians. They were tall, graceful creatures with crystalline skin that refracted light in beautiful patterns. They had been broadcasting their distress call toward their ancient allies, the Corvani, who possessed ships capable of mass evacuation. But the Corvani were simply too far away. The Thalorians had never heard of humanity. Earth didn't appear in any of their stellar databases. When the Endurance appeared in their skies, they thought it was a Corvani vessel arriving impossibly early. Captain Harrison's first communication with the Thalorian government was brief and to the point. "We heard your call for help. We're here to evacuate your people." The Thalorian Chancellor, her crystalline features flickering with confused hope, asked the question that would become legendary throughout the galaxy. "But we never called to you. Who are you?" "We're humans," Harrison replied. "And apparently, we're very good at listening." Over the next 48 hours, the Endurance worked around the clock. The ship wasn't designed for mass evacuation, but humanity's talent for improvisation shone through. They reconfigured cargo bays into temporary habitats, pushed life support systems beyond their rated capacity, and made multiple dangerous jumps, back and forth between the dying world and a habitable planet in a nearby system. When the Thalorian sun finally went supernova, 4.3 million Thalorian civilians were safely relocated to their new world. The entire species had been saved by strangers who had no obligation to help them, no prior contact with them, and no expectation of reward. The rescue made humanity famous throughout the galaxy. The Thalorians, it turned out, were well connected in galactic politics. Their rescue became the stuff of legend, the story of a young, unknown species that had risked everything to save people they'd never met, simply because it was the right thing to do. But for Dr. Elena Vasquez, still working her quiet shifts, at Kepler Station, the greatest reward came 6 months later, when she received a personal message from the Thalorian Chancellor. "Thank you for listening to a message that was never meant for you. In saving us, you have taught the galaxy what it truly means to be human." Humanity had announced itself to the cosmos not with conquest or demands, but with compassion, and the galaxy would never forget it.